I'm sorry, if my partner admits to having wandering eyes, I'm not emotionally strong enough to handle that. I'm not. I'd be like, okay, wander somewhere else then. Straight up, she should have left, walked right into a therapist's office. Seriously. AJ went to see Britney. That felt like a betrayal. Honestly, even as an audience member, I was like, that's a betrayal. Like, she should not have done that. Marie's like, did you hook up? And Mel's like, no. Melissa, we saw Dana's full. Oh my god. The Ultimatum, Queer Love Season 2. Listen, I have waited for this show. This show, out of Netflix's reality TV show universe, is my favorite. Okay, Ultimatum in the trash. Shout out to Two Black Girls, One Rose for coining the term Ultimatum. The Queer Love version is just so much better because everyone is emotionally in tune. Everyone is 10 times more fine than Ultimatum. And I love the mess. I love the mess. I'm so excited to get into it because there's so much good, like, healthy discourse that's happening, as much as there's equally just amount of like mess and toxicity that feeds reality TV in like a really unhealthy but incredibly entertaining way. You know what I mean? Like, this is like the perfect combination of things to make reality TV like what it is. Like, I'm so happy with this season so far. Sorry in advance for my loud neighbors and my loud cat. Okay, I can't do anything to control that. So if you hear that, please ignore it. I have some questions for the comments before I get into everything. Who is your favorite person? Who do you feel like you identify with most? Who is your favorite ultimatum made couple? And then who's your favorite original couple? And then what's the most trifling moment of the season? Personally, I'll get into it. I was gonna mention it, but let me not spoil my thoughts. If you could at any point, I know this is like an annoying task, like in the first couple minutes, if you could give this video a like and something, you know, it's like, what the heck, calm down. I don't even know you. I don't even know you. If you could at any point give me a like, comment something how you feel about this season. It helps my videos out so much, and it will really prevent me from running to ChatGPT for marketing strategy as to how I can grow my videos, because oh my god, would very much appreciate it. Ultimatum season, Queer Love season 2, episodes 1 through, is it 7? Yeah, all one. I'm gonna go through my notes and talk about the things that stood out to me as I was watching the show and writing things down that I knew that I would discuss with other people, this channel. What stood out to you may not stand out to me. And then also, I know there are some things I'm gonna miss because I was so enthralled with like every minute of the show. Episode 1. Oh my goodness. Okay. The thing that I really like about Queer Love is just that there's so much emotional depth. With reality TV, you need a really good balance of seeing people for their authentic selves and their authentic stories, but then also having like a good dose of drama and things that keep you captivated, without it getting like too like trashy and like unbelievable and manufactured. Queer Love does it so well because the concept is incredibly like ridiculous. Like, honestly, the idea of, I don't think I can marry you, so I'm gonna hook up with other people to find out if you're the one for me, and then we're gonna get married at the end of this instead of going to couples therapy. Like, this is gonna work for us. You know, it's like crazy. First couple we have is Haley and Pilar. They'd been together for 10 years. They're both 29. Oh my god. This is like what I was missing from the past seasons, the ultistratums. Shout out to Two Black Girls, One Rose for coining that term, the ultistratums. From the past ultistratums, there had been like couples that have been together for like 2 years, 1 year, giving us like, why are you even here? Like, genuinely, why are you here? You have not really endured. So to have a decade-long relationship and to have the background to be so understandable as to why there's an ultimatum is such a success to me. Pilar has hid her relationship with Haley from her family for 8 years due to her family's disapproval. And then for 3 years, her family and her have not spoken. Being half Nicaraguan and half Filipino. Was she the one who said no one's out? No. I think it was Megan that said that no one's out and proud. But similar themes of not being able to share your love due to just homophobia kind of disguised as well, it's not within our culture, it's really just like the conditional love is not here. So they're each other's. I was about to just go on a stupid tangent because this thing is like triggering to be in 2025 and to see people talking about how they are not accepted by their families. It just, like, I was reading the Stonewall Reader, which is an anthology of events previous, during, and after Stonewall, about people being discriminated against, like on an employment level, on social levels, physical, like, and to see themes of what is happening today is just like, if I sit and think about it for too long, I'm gonna go insane, I think. Anyway. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna spend 10 million years talking about this so I don't just move on. They were each other's first, as it relates to having female experiences. Wow. I really like this dynamic because it can get incredibly spicy. And these are the type of people that I want to see on the show. Anyway, so then we go down to Kyle and Bridget, together for 2.5 years. Bridget says that it's hard to see how the commitment level in the relationship is not enough, and she doesn't really know what marriage would have to offer for them. That is like very interesting to me. Not because I'm like, marriage should be for everyone. Marriage is not for everyone. Like, if you do not want it, it's very interesting to see somebody who does want it. How much value should you put on that when your partner does not necessarily value it, you know? I didn't catch if Kyle said that they were going to walk away if she didn't feel it, because I feel like they all said that, but I can't remember. Anyway, and we have Marita and Ashley. Marita and Ashley have been together for 3 years. Ashley wants to marry Marita, but she has wandering eyes. She just straight up, Ashley was like, yeah, and you have wandering, and then Marita's like, yeah, I do have wandering eyes. I was like, what the heck? Like, how do you just admit to that just kind of casually and just nothing happens? I'm sorry, if my partner admits to having wandering eyes, I'm not emotionally strong enough to handle that. I'm not. I'd be like, okay, wander somewhere else then. Wander somewhere else. So then we have Dana and Megan dating for 1.5 years. You know what? Now that I think about it, yeah, their level of toxicity is giving that they've only been together for 1.5 years. Dana wants Megan to demand respect from her Lebanese family, but Megan has said, no one is out and proud in my family. So it kind of affects her energy. And you know what? Honestly, like, I feel like Megan was somebody who we all can read as like one of the finest on this show. Oh my god. Like, she's so like, I just look at her sometimes and I'm like, oh my god, you're so beautiful. It makes me crazy. Like, it makes me melt. But it's like her energy is so reserved and so anxious that I see why she maybe was struggling a little bit. Like, not having the foundation of being secure in your own family unit really holds you back from like being able to reach your full potential, because genuinely, if her energy matched her exterior, and I say that being like, if she like knew the power that she held, I feel like she could do so much, you know? I feel like a lot more people would have like gravitated towards her. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Okay. So everybody starts dating by the beach. I always get like so excited because I'm like, oh shoot, let's see the dynamics. But it also makes me a little uncomfortable because it's like, okay, everybody's just kind of putting on this little show. Everybody's doing this like fake flirty thing. It's kind of embarrassing to watch other people flirt. Just gonna be for real. I feel like flirting is like not, it's like, it's just this like show, this like front. So it makes me a little uncomfortable. I don't know. I don't have any notes about what the heck happened at the beach. Dang it. I don't think really, honestly, it's worth noting because this video is going to be so long because I'm covering every single episode. I think down by the beach, it was just notable that AJ was getting along with everyone. Bridget, I think, was also getting along with everyone, and I think in a way she's palatable. I feel like she could be definitely somebody who's going to be probably most followed after this on Instagram and TikTok. I straight up just went to episode 2. So episode 2, I literally have like, Meg wants to leave. Like, what? And like, honestly, it's so hard to watch people want to leave because for their own well-being, they should, you know? Like, this entire concept built from Netflix, like Chris Collins' mind, this should not happen to anybody with a healthy mind. I don't feel like, I mean, the people do say that they get value from it, so like good for them for having a benefit, but ultimately it just kind of feels like Netflix is exploiting these people's insecurities in their relationships because they know the concept does really well. And so I was kind of rooting for Megan to leave because like as much as I'm so appreciative of this show and the things, the drama that it provides, it's like not good for people. Straight up, she should have left, walked right into a therapist's office. Seriously. But luckily she did stay. Like I'm so happy that she did stay. Um by the way, when they're all dating, Pilar couples with Kyle and well, okay, not couples with, connects with Kyle and Bridget, which is crazy because they're a couple. It's so I don't have the emotional security to be like, you would be really great for my partner. Like what the heck? That is true confidence. Like Bridget knows who she is. Like she knows what could be good for her. I couldn't do it, dude. I would like mention that and be like, wow, you'd be like really good for my partner. You should try it. You should really try it. Like I anyway. So Megan, I guess, still wants to walk away. He's not really kind of comfortable. But she then puts herself in a more comfortable position and she more connects with Haley. And like honestly, I should go back and like look at the beginning because their energy matches so well. Like Megan really does deserve to be with someone similar to Haley. I have a feeling it's not going to happen because Netflix is kind of leaning into their love a little too much to make it seem like they might end up together. And there have been so many of those stupid couples where they make it seem like, oh, they're totally going to be, and then they don't. Like Xander and Yoli, what the hell? They just didn't get together. What the heck? Um, so Pilar is on a date with Kyle. Pilar with Kyle versus Pilar with Bridget. I more so liked her with Kyle because I feel like Bridget, I don't know. I felt like Bridget was better with AJ at that point. At that point, I did feel like that. Speaking of AJ and Bridget just had so much sexual tension. And I love sexual tension. I do. I like how sexual these people are. Oh my God. Because it just makes it more spicy. And I think in some of the other ones, Ultimatum specifically, like there you can tell there's like tension in even wanting to be sexual. There's always like people that take it too far, always. But I like how pretty much the vibe of the entire cast is everyone is feeling a little bit more free to lean into their sexuality a bit, you know? Also, why the heck is Joanne is it Joanna or Joanne? The host, okay? Why is she hosting this show? I want Mel to host this show. She would be so good, dude. What? Oh, oh my God. It makes me like annoyed. I love the vibes of the cast. I like that they all get along. I like how sexual things are getting between everybody. We kind of at one of the first more toxic jealous moments that we get from a couple in the making is between Dana getting possessive of Mel, which is like it was so weird because they were randomly just all talking at the what the heck, when they all kind of got together and were just mingling at that full entire group date thing, the group setting where they're all kind of mingling, I guess, not a group date. And so Mel's like, I feel like you're not talking to me and you don't really show me that you want me. Like what the heck is up with that? Immediately I was like, she's good TV. She's good TV. Something's gonna happen with her. And I was like, can you chill off Mel? But at the same time, don't, because we need some of this drama to get cooking. Okay. So it just immediately peeped that Dana was maybe a little bit unhealthy. So then we got AJ and Megan being skeptical of Mel because she's pulling their hose. Why is she so physical off the bat? Because you're putting your hose. The choice. Let's talk the choice. It was AJ calling Bridget the most feminine prince. As if King Princess doesn't already exist, but I get what she's saying. Like, the minute that she said it, I was like, ah, and everybody was probably like, oh, that's such a good, like, accurate description. I forgot to mention that Bridget had a problem with AJ because she was like, talking to, was it Marita? Or who the heck was it? Being like, I just don't like that she's saying the same things to me as she is to everybody else. Like, I just really don't like that. And I didn't like that because I was like, girl, this not the game? Like, some people's way of selling themselves is to use the same pitch. Like, in a lot of ways, it can be peeped as a manipulation and not authentic. But I feel like in watching AJ, I did not get manipulator at all. I just got that, like, she was somebody who was incredibly used to just doing kind of the same thing. She's also a military brat. Like, when you move around a lot, you just know how to appeal to people. And then when people tell you that you're sexy, I'm sure AJ was told that they were sexy like a lot. Like, I'm sure that they have been known to be a smooth talker. So they just be smooth talking and it doesn't feel like it's a fireable offense. But the way that Bridget like came at AJ, I didn't appreciate. So I guess we'll get into that. The whole Bridget calling out AJ. I don't know how anybody else felt about it. I haven't really watched anybody's opinions except for Two Black Girls, One Rose. And I was like initially kind of annoyed by it because it just didn't feel like it had like a lot of grounds that I related to. I see where you're coming from because I think if I were in that position, I might feel similarly. But because I liked AJ and because it didn't feel like AJ was being shady about it, it made it kind of like this doesn't feel like that. This feels like a non-issue, but I can see how it could turn into an issue if I was in that position. So selfishly, I see where she's coming from, but then I was also like, can we chill off her? So then AJ has two options, and I thought for sure she was gonna choose Marita. I'm not very sure. Just like everybody else, she's gonna choose Marita. And then she chooses Marie, which is like we've never seen them talk, really. I mean, we have, but like for one actual second. I just felt so bad for Marita. And then she mentions, she's like, I feel stupid. You know, like I could have been talking to people and you made me feel like I was the only option. And so then I just didn't. And it's like, okay, I want to validate everybody's feelings in this. It can be so annoying. It's probably so annoying to feel like you're somebody's top of the list, especially because they were dating for like a few days there. And so to kind of feel like, oh, this is the person that's like going to be the person. And then it ends up that you're getting the same exact treatment. Ew. I don't even like when my husband says like specific phrases to like random people that we say together. So I get that. But I don't know, a little bit of me was like, you feel stupid, and I get that, but at the same time, how much wrong did AJ do? I don't feel like a lot. Let me know your feelings. I ultimately do feel bad for Marita, but I also was like, I just kind of feel like that's his way that AJ be. So then we have Pilar choosing Kyle. I said, good on you because Bridget is palatable. I was like, honestly, if Pilar chooses Bridget, like, it's kind of an L because I don't really see anybody else choosing or gravitating towards Kyle in that way. Honestly, I was like, I hope this is really fair for everybody. Like, I hope everybody gets what they deserve. And I kind of feel like the end result was kind of it. So Haley chooses Megan. I was very much rooting for that. I was so scared that Megan was gonna run away. And then we have Mel and Dana talking so much shit. They were like, because I think it was Mel chose Dana and Dana chose Mel. And they were like, it's going to be so difficult with her. It's going to be so difficult, but it's going to be so worth it. She's going to like, I'm literally going to wake up and a knife is going to be at my neck, but I'm just going to like, I'm going to love her and choose her and do the best that I can. What are we saying? Like, there were just so many digs about how difficult it's going to be that I was like, and they weren't direct digs. Digs is strong, but there was so much just like they just didn't want to do, like it just felt like if things are going to be this hard, why, like, how are you guys okay to be here? Anyway, then we have Britney and Marita. I also did not talk about Britney and Marita. Sorry, Britney and what the heck? Yeah, I didn't talk about Britney and AJ, even though they're like the best couple that I want to get married. I feel really bad because Britney is like just the baddest thing on this cast. Like, genuinely, I think it's really hard to say like who's the actual baddest because I have such an affinity for Megan. She's so fine. But like you genuinely cannot look at Britney and be like, yeah, whatever. Like she's just undeniably beautiful to me. And it just is so sad that you could be like the baddest in the room and still end up being one of the leftovers because she didn't get together with Mel. Honestly, good riddance she didn't get together with Mel. Whoa. Britney and Marita did the friendship thing. It makes me so sad to see, but oh well, what are you gonna do? Everybody's getting along. They all kind of get together, and it's always those like first kind of awkward vibes. of everybody talking. And I love seeing them in bed together doing pillow talk because they're so real. They're so real. It's great. AJ went to see Britney. That felt like a betrayal. Honestly, even as an audience member, I was like, that's a betrayal. Like, she should not have done that. Her and Marie were vibing. What the heck? Mel and Dana go down to the pool. They're down in the pool being very flirty with each other. Everybody and their mama saw Mel and Dana at the pool, apparently. So first it's Mel's counterpart, who was Marie, and she comes up and she starts crying and she's like, I can't believe. And then I think it's Megan, who's like, I saw her and she didn't acknowledge me. And like everybody has these opinions about them being at the pool, and I'm like, dang. Because I honestly am kind of like, is it, but isn't like the point, like, didn't Netflix say like you will no longer be speaking to your ex, or what the heck? Because I feel like they have some moments where they're like, no, I'm not talking to my ex, and then some moments where they're like, you should have acknowledged. But I don't know the rules. I don't know how they should be playing the rules. I really wasn't that offended for them, but I could see how they could be offended. Anyway, so Brittany brings up because they're like getting along together, and she's like, I'm gonna bring my daddy energy for you, as if they aren't fully fledged friends. Please, like, I get this is like a whole trial marriage thing, but like, call a spade and just say like, we're just together and we're gonna make the best friendship we can, you know. Bring her daddy energy. It just is so hard to watch somebody. Not that she was like trying too hard, but to say like something that's like inauthentic to them, be like, I'm gonna bring my daddy energy. Like, she already in herself has that energy of like being provider, being like a high achiever, and for her to be like, I'm gonna bring this for you, basically being like, I'm gonna be like the masks that we're both missing. Like, it just made me kind of sad to be like, but just like chill and relax and just be besties. Okay, so then we have Ashley and Bridget, which Bridget I did not like see pretty much after the first episode. It's like, miss them. I literally wrote down miss them. Like, we don't know anything about them really. Okay, and then I have written down Ashley opens up about being in a toxic abusive relationship. That was really this is why this show is so much better than Love is Blind, Too Hot to Handle for sure, other reality TV shows, because it's just like you see the realist part of these people. Talking about a toxic abusive relationship, these women just sit and listen to each other, and it's so beautiful that they create space for each other, and I just so appreciate that and like it. But it made me really sad for Ashley, the fact that she went through that, and the fact that now she has this wall up because of her past experiences, and she lied to the people who called the police. Like, lied to the police, and then the police arrested her, only only for her to then lie for the person who abused her. Abusive relationships are so incredibly difficult, because like, you would probably listen to that and be like, why the heck would you lie? When you love somebody who hurts you, oh my god, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine like being a victim to somebody who you are deeply in love with. Oh, I'm gonna get triggered if I keep talking about this. Okay. So we have Pilar and Kyle. Whoa, this is the time when Pilar and Kyle came back, and it was like, of course, like the camera cam, the camera cam, the like, um, the like spy cams or whatever, whenever they like enter the room, and it's not like Netflix recording them, it's like the like Ring cameras recording them, and everything seems like really tense. So then Kyle says Pilar kissed Kyle, and Kyle said no, but then later they made out. That initially was just like, oh, that's really uncomfortable, that's really difficult to say no and then for things to happen. Ugh, and you can just tell how deeply uncomfortable Kyle was. But you can also see why Pilar would kind of want to be more expressive. She's been with the same person for 10 years. Probably got the okay to be a little bit more physically explorative from who was she with? From Haley, because Haley was incredibly explorative. And so then Kyle being like, no, I'm sorry. That must have been hard to take, because she's like, dang, like, I finally have this moment to do something and nobody's doing. But the fact that Kyle said no and then it happened again, that's like not cool, right? Like, that made me sad for Kyle. So I also hate how the music escalated in Kyle and Pilar's conversation, because it made Pilar that's her little thing, that's her little couple name. It made Pilar like into this like villainous person, as opposed to, I don't know, these people are trying to have a conversation about things that are like very difficult and touchy, and it just made you feel like, okay, this is like the villain in this thing, and then Kyle is just this person who just didn't want to be touched, and then all of a sudden I don't know, I feel like I have empathy for both of them, and the music just like makes it so much more escalated and hard to watch. They go have a discussion down by the beach, and through the discussion, Pilar's basically like, you said, like, you're taking no accountability for this. It also is hard as somebody who's like been in couples therapy and in therapy for so long to be like told by my therapist, like all the therapists that I've had, like um instead of like using accusatory words, say like I feel like you're not taking accountability, to watch somebody be like, you're not taking accountability. It's hard because Kyle, I feel like, was remorseful, but Kyle's like, I know, I'm sorry, but at the same time, I do see the avoidant thing that she was talking about. I like that they had healthy communication, because Kyle basically was saying like, I'm not good at conflict, like we did not have conflict resolution in our house, and so I do want to be better and admit things. And thank you for having this conversation. And then Kyle was also saying, like, I just didn't want to feel like a bad guy. A bad guy. I don't want to feel like a bad guy. Nobody wants to feel like a bad guy when they're in a conflict, but a lot of people do. That's why toxicity happens. That's why so many things that are like not emotionally healthy happen, because people are like used to being branded as something when they're just trying to like express themselves. So I think it was really, really good for them to show that conversation, because it was like, this is good conflict resolution. Thank you so much, Netflix, for sharing that. Okay. We also see Megan's friends. Um, we meet Megan's friends, and it's like, have you ever seen friends with like the same exact aesthetics? I don't feel like I have a lot, unless they're just like basic, the most basic. Because I live in the Midwest, I see basic Midwestern pictures all the time. But like to see straight up just like the same masks, different ethnicities, never. Interesting that they all found each other. I love when the friend groups are down to just like relax with the people that are there on the show and participating, and not grilling. Ugh, the grilling is so annoying to me. And then we have AJ and Marie finally talking. Dear Lord, finally talking. Marie mentions that she never felt so alone because AJ went to go see Britney. And I can see why she would feel that way, but also she opens up about her mother's relationship, her her resistance to dealing with her emotions, how her mother committed suicide. I can't say the full word because YouTube will suppress my videos even more than they already are. That was incredibly important, and I really identified with everything she was saying. Like, the idea of even just being like, you would know that I'm a victim of, and do you even care? Like, do you actually want to know what that feels like? That was like that whole entire conversation about her saying, I'm actually angry. I'm like a really angry person deep down, is like incredibly relatable, because when what's her name got back, when AJ got back, it was like she took it too well, she took it a little bit too well, and she was like, yeah, you have your feelings, I can't like dictate how you, but then she would talk to the camera and be like, I'm so incredibly alone. I just am overly identifying with her, so I'm just like, that was really hard to watch, but then also I'm proud of her parasocial, yeah, happy for her that she was able to call out and be like, I'm lonely because of these specific factors. So Brittany and Marita are having little conversations in bed where basically Brittany is kind of being like, you deserve better. And Marita's like, you do too. And they're like, besties. I really don't feel like talking about that. Mel has real conversations with Dana. It was really tough to watch them. I think this was at the park, where they were talking about, how Mel is somebody who was chronically ill, and how she's scared to get married because that commitment could potentially be selfish and a burden on somebody else. And also her fear of being a mother is very much tied to that. So she's saying like, I don't want kids. It's kind of like a defense mechanism. And that was like really sad. It was just, I can't, not that I can't imagine, but it just makes me very saddened for her. Ugh. But the way that Dana was empathizing with her was really encouraging to see, I feel. Like that was really beautiful. So, also then Mel seeing Dana's breasts bare did not feel real. I was here just watching. I was like, are we seeing, did I just see, are you kidding? Are we on the, like, am I actually here? I literally was like, there's no way her bare breast is just, because, like, we don't see bare breasticle on screen. And so the fact that that happened, and Mel literally had the same exact reaction to me as she was like, what am I seeing? I also was like, what am I seeing? And you know that Megan watching this not gonna be like, what am I seeing? You told me that you didn't. It's crazy. I feel like it's just kind of implied that that Mel and Dana hooked up. It is like there's no way they ever, you don't just like see that and then you just don't just hook up, because Mel just said that they just kissed. It's crazy. I can't wait for this reunion. Woo! I can't wait for this reunion. So Haley and Megan hook up and they say, we didn't just, do a couple things. We hooked up all the way. All the way. But it's also interesting because Megan told her friends, Haley's never gonna be out of my life. Oh, but you hooked up. So then does that mean, is she not going to be able to exist in a friend capacity because they did like cross that line? So we have the family meeting, Dana and Mel. That was very relaxed in a way that I didn't expect. Like, I felt like Dana's friends were going to maybe be as, I don't say mean, because Dana's not naturally mean. I feel like she just has like these really strong defense mechanisms that are like triggered by other people, like by like her perceiving other people like come at her. Like if you have a friend who is like BPD, like I feel like I see some things that like have maybe been in some friendships that I've had of people that like just have like really strong like comebacks and are really strong personalities because they feel like they need to like bite back at people, but it's like you don't have to put on that like all the time, like especially at that one moment when it was like it was a changeover. Ooh, when what's her name called her out, Britney called her out. Very important. It was interesting. So the family, I was surprised that Dana's family was like chill, but then of course Dana's friends and family, what the heck, who was there, her mom and I think it was like sisters, was basically like, well, we love Megan, and I understand it because I also love Megan, and Megan is also fine, and I would never want to let her go. So then we also have the ultimatum givers and receivers beat up. Biggest takeaway from that is that Mel is still in conflict with Megan. Or yeah, is in conflict with Megan because of this whole like issue that they had. Why didn't I write that down? I didn't write down the whole Megan and Dana conversation. So we randomly get this footage of Dana calling Megan and then her just like crying, crashing out. We are so unserious as a generation to use the words crashing out when people are having mental breakdowns about real things. Oh, so basically Dana's on the phone and it just like there's no context that's given like at all, and so we're like, what the heck? And so then after that, Dana's going to Mel being like, she basically told me to F off. She basically told me that she wished I was dead. She basically told me that all of these things about me are like so wrong and I'm existing wrong. And it's like, I feel like because what we've seen of Megan is not that energy, that it was like, I feel bad for saying this, but I feel like that's a distorted view of potentially what the conversation was. It could have been the exact conversation that they had, but it felt like that was a blown out interpretation of whatever the heck was being said, just because what the heck, the perspectives that we've been seeing from Megan have always been even keel, and because she also just doesn't have that energy, she doesn't have that fire to like combat that. Yeah, at the ultimatum givers and receivers thing, the biggest thing is just that like it's kind of like, you want to go talk, Megan, you want to go talk. I wouldn't have left my partner in her deepest darkest hour, but you did. So what that, and then Megan's like, yeah, but just because I, see that she's kind of coming at me doesn't mean I have to enable it. No, you don't. Whoa, no, hi, what? You don't? Like, I just very much am. So, I very much see Megan's perspective in a lot of this. So it might not be fair, honestly, to Dana for me to be like, just like, I don't, like, I see what Megan is saying. But like, I feel like a lot of, what's her name? Dana's behaviors come from like distortion, but I also don't know because I didn't see what was said to her specifically to get her that ignited. Episode 6. I love how I'm just randomly being like, episode 6, the changeover, but then I like am skipping mass amounts of events. So, sheesh. Mel lies to Marie. So they meet up because Haley was like, listen, I have proof that they hooked up. And it turns out the proof one was nothing. Was like actually genuinely kind of nothing. She said she had hard proof. Hard. Marie freaks out and is like, I need to talk to her. I need to talk to her. And so they sit in this car together and Marie's like, did you hook up? And Mel's like, no. Melanie. Seriously. Oh, Melissa. Melissa. We saw Dana's full breasts. Oh my god. Like for a minute I was like, is the proof, is it like that a producer whispered in somebody's ear that they saw Dana's nipple, or what is it? Because that, I was excited for it to be exposed and then it was like nothing really. Anyway. So we see Haley consoling Megan. And honestly, I'm confused about this whole Megan and Dana problem thing because I don't know how the conflict started. From Megan's perspective, it was just basically that Dana had called her being like, I'm breaking up with you, I'm leaving, I'm blah blah blah. And then it was basically just like Megan kind of being like, you know what, fine, whatever, do it. Like they're just classic toxic. Classic. Ooh, we have Pilar meeting Kyle's family. I just love how normal these families are. Like I genuinely find it so restoring to reality TV because we're used to seeing so many annoying families. We find out also that Kyle's mom gave her dad an ultimatum. What? That's really interesting. You never think about like parents sharing something so real. Like, yeah, I give him an ultimatum. So it's really funny. So the changeover. So Ashley, Marita, Britney, and Bridget. Britney starts off being like, I'm so happy. I can't tell if she's like legit happy and is like genuinely wouldn't change a thing, or if she simply had to make the best out of a really disappointing situation. Because honestly, Britney should have pulled. Like she could have pulled like somebody fine. You know what I mean? Like to me, she deserves to be somebody as sexy as Megan. She does. So Marita kind of brings up like, you know what? I don't have to do anything for her to just show up for me. Like she made me oxtail. AJ's like, what? Hold on, that was a boundary. Imagine your boundaries being like, don't cook her oxtail, by the way. That's my thing. I wish my boundaries were something like that. That's so funny. So Ashley is talking about how she feels seen and heard with Bridget. The host asks Bridget if she has any advice for Marita. Oof, like that wasn't gonna trigger that L out of Marita. And so Bridget's like, you know what, you need to work on understanding the feelings a little bit better. And Marita gets upset at that advice and is like, you're just like prejudging, like you're judging our relationship, and I have been here for however long, and then you've only been here for like 3 weeks. And then Ashley's like, yeah, that's what we're all doing, sweetie. Just like calm down. So then Marita's getting upset and she's like, what the heck? And then the host is like, guys, this dress is not secure enough for me to break up a fight. Did that not feel a little inappropriate? Like that felt a little bit like, okay, nobody's gonna get into a stupid fight, Joanna. Don't annoy me. Don't piss me off. But I do respect her decorum most of the time, except for that comment was stupid. So then we have Pilar and Kyle. Pilar calls out stories being posted. And Pilar calls out stories being posted about like little quotes and stuff. But then I think Kyle is like, Anyway, so a bunch of stories. I was trying to read my note and I couldn't. A bunch of stories are posted and they feel a little bit shady. And that moment was like, what the hell? And so apparently Pilar blocked Kyle. What? Why were you blocking your girlfriend? I know they're exes, but like, why would you block them? You're gonna have to live with her in a few days. What the hell? Sorry, Pilar blocked Kyle. Pilar blocked Haley. I'm being so dumb. I literally am forgetting that like they are not original couples. I literally feel like I see Pilar and Kyle as OG people. Like I don't see them as like ultimatum made. You know what I mean? Okay, so Haley is still blocked, and they move on to AJ and Marie. Like, didn't resolve it, just kind of brought it up, and then we just moved on. Ugh. Netflix do better. Do better. So then we have AJ slash Marie. Marie is feisty. I like her little like jabs because you can just tell that they're out of hurt. Like they're genuinely not out of like um a place of like aggression. They're out of kind of like a it's like what the heck, like these little things that you're jabbing at are because you're sad, you know. Like that moment when she's like, we built a friendship because intimacy can only make you hide behind that shit. It's only gonna make you hide behind that shit. So yeah, we have friendship. Okay, wow. Dana, Mel, Megan, and Haley situation. This was insane. It's crazy because they were actually getting like, so the whole situation gets blown up about like, I have proof that you were having sex. So that's what Haley said, and then basically Dana was like, yeah, talk to your little friend about this thing. Why didn't your friend talk to me about this? Like we were not doing anything. This is where this note is coming in. I said it's crazy because they were acting like they weren't getting down, but they were fully getting down. Like they were probably the most physical couple that we could see through the cameras. And to like act like, why are you acting like you say you have hard proof and it actually, yeah, you're gonna see the hard proof when it comes out on Netflix. Like, do they just not think that like there are little cameras catching everything? Did they not watch the past ultimatums? Because they will catch the things. Like they're just lying like they didn't just do that. Like, so then they get back and everyone but Marita slash Ashley, and then Britney slash AJ got attention. Like everybody. I'm also very much rooting for Britney and AJ. Like I want them to get engaged. I think AJ's whole entire thing is really just that she doesn't feel like she's solid enough to provide for a marriage, but it's like you can grow together. And she's really intimidated by Britney because Britney's such a boss babe, you know? Honestly, I just feel like you can kind of grow through those things. And if they like go into therapy, they'll be good. They're gonna get engaged for sure. So Dana and Megan they're talking through all of their issues. It gets exposed that there's a matching tattoo. Why the heck would they get a matching tattoo? Why the heck would Mel and Dana get a matching tattoo? Like that is just, they would be toxic over time. They are not they're not good together. Kyle is weird because in the car, I feel like she's walking on eggshells around Bridget, which is kind of difficult because Bridget is not like an unfair person. You know, Bridget seems like really fair, and we don't even really know exactly what the tea is with their relationship other than Kyle has like difficulty communicating. What's like Bridget's problem, right? Can somebody remind me what Bridget's, I can't. I don't know. Kyle and Bridget talk about the kiss, which was such a difficult conflict to watch them talk out because we saw how Kyle did not want that. And we saw what she was going through. So we have Pilar and Haley. Haley admits to having sex and having an emotional connection. And then Pilar breaks down. Honestly, that made me really sad. Like that really kind of broke my heart a little bit because you could feel Pilar's pain. And that would like, I'm not gonna cry. But like I was pausing for a moment, but like Pilar just did not deserve that. Like she really puts in the work to do what she can to successfully communicate, and clearly she's like incredibly loyal, and so this must have like really hurt her. But you can also see how this was like something that Haley maybe needed. Then we have Megan admitting to being in love with Haley. This is so difficult, you guys. Well, ultimately, okay. I'm going to remind of the questions that are for the comments. Who's your favorite person? Who's your favorite ultimatum couple versus original couple? And then what's the most trifling moment of the season? My favorite person, I really have a soft spot for Megan, especially because of her background. It makes me so sad. It makes me so sad, but then also she's so fine. Whoa. My favorite ultimatum couple is, I want to say Haley and Pilar. I do because I also like their background. Sorry, that's not an ultimatum couple. Haley and Pilar are my favorite original couple. My favorite ultimatum couple, Haley and Megan, of course, of course. And then the most trifling moment of the season was when we saw them breasts. Oh, that was crazy. Because like we just saw them, and then you're acting like, oh, I didn't hook up with her. Okay. Wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever time of day it is, I will be posting for the next batch of episodes later. Please interact with this video. It really helps out my videos. Oh my god. I appreciate your efforts and I appreciate you.